When you scroll online, you can see the craziest videos about the human body with the weirdest claims, like your veins that can wrap around the world twice. But are these viral facts actually true, or are they fake?
So I called my doctor.
All right, so what are we doing?
No, we don't need this.
You don't?
I just need your knowledge.
Oh.
Zach D Films. He gained millions of subscribers over the past year by uploading the craziest animations about the human body. The most viewed short on the channel has 244 million views about how stitches work.
Stitches? Really?
That's exactly why I thought of you. I look at these shorts every single day and think, oh, cool. Epic information. I have no clue if it's accurate.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely help with that.
When you get stitches, a doctor threads a needle through your wound and pulls it tight.
You pull it tight, but not too tight. If you pull it too tight, the wound edges overlap each other, and it causes the healing to be a little bit ugly. You get scar tissue.
To close the skin. As the stitches hold the edges together, the wound becomes inflamed as new cells begin to repair the tissue. Afterwards, connective tissues and collagens start to create skin.
If there's new tissue in the middle, it will probably be very small, but will the skin be less tight?
The thing with skin is there are mechanosensors in it. And so every time you rub off it, or in this case, the leg keeps moving, the skin reforms based on the type of pressures that apply to the skin. And it does actually look that yellow. That yellow part is very important for us to see if the healing is going properly.
What is the yellow?
The yellow is granulations. It's like a nest of healthy tissue to grow.
Then blood vessels form to nourish these developing tissues, filling in the area. And over a few weeks, the wound will have healed together and the stitches are removed.
When do you remove the stitches?
It depends on where in the body, and it also depends on what type of stitches you use. So here, for example, you have the 3/0 and you have different needle sizes, but this 3/0 refers to how thick the actual suture is. Depending on where on the body you do it, you choose a different size.
So the bigger the thread, the stronger. So for the back where there's a lot of pressure,
Right.
you probably want to have strong ones because otherwise they might break.
Yeah.
Like or dislike?
I think we should like this one. It's a really good video explaining stitches very short, but very accurately.
I actually think that some of these shorts are actually very short as well.
Yeah.
Because animations are expensive to make. 206 million views, how splinters get unstuck.
If you get a splinter, most people just go ahead and pull them out. But sometimes they get lodged so deep into your skin that you can't reach them. If the area gets infected, it will start to swell as pus forms under the skin. This creates pressure around the splinter that can sometimes push it upwards towards the skin's surface.
And if you're luckier, the splinter will stay with you for the rest of your life. Is that what happens if your body doesn't get rid of it?
Well, sometimes it doesn't get pushed upwards. And what happens instead is you get a little pocket. And this pocket fills with fluids. This pocket gets infected and it's called an abscess. So this is what happens when the splinter doesn't get pushed out. You get a pocket that's filled with pus. And this is called an abscess. It's basically an infection. Here we have an example of what could be happening from a splinter in the nail. Your body's not able to get it out. So what we as doctors do to help people like this is we make a small incision so that all the fluids can leave the body.
Because your body on itself can't remove the splinter or can't resolve the problem.
And sometimes people are a bit too late. It can lead to an infection of the entire body. So before that happens, we need to cut off the finger. It doesn't happen a lot,
No finger.
but it does happen.
Okay.
Sometimes push it upwards towards the skin's surface. And if you're lucky, after a certain period of time, your body could have completely removed it from your skin.
Great or not good short?
It's still a great video because this is what usually happens in the body, and it's super accurate.
How long are your blood vessels? 144 million views.
Honestly, I don't know the answer to this.
There's a saying or myth, but I don't know if it's really true, where they say that all the blood vessels in your body can go around the world like twice. For one human. Blood vessels
Earth.
around Oh! Yeah, it's a real thing.
A person's blood vessel could wrap around the planet approximately 2.5 times?
I actually heard that this was not true. I heard that this was written down like 100 years ago in a book, and someone else used that as a reference. And then that reference was used as the scientific reference for everyone. Maybe the short is about this.
The human body has thousands of these tiny vessels that weave in and out of every body part. And with all of them combined, it would go on to reach all the way across the Pacific Ocean, over Japan, Asia, and all of Europe. And not only would it make it all the way back to your starting point, but it would be able to make this trip 2 to 4 times over.
Maybe we found one that's not accurate. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
How do we find out? I know I'm a doctor, but we don't learn about this.
Oh, yeah, there you go. This was proved wrong a few months ago. Instead of 100,000 kilometers, it's 9,000 to 19,000 kilometers now. Unfortunately, many sources have the wrong number, including Google.
So you were right.
Yes.
In that case, I should ask you the question, is this accurate or not?
I'm sorry, Zach D Films. You guys think I might only watch workout videos. I actually don't. On my YouTube history will literally be stuff like this. So, can your blood vessels... This one, it's from Kurzgesagt.
Yeah, they know it's probably true. These guys are the GOAT.
This is a really cool video to check out. But now another one about veins. Blown veins explained.
Blown veins? What do they mean?
When a doctor gives you a shot, they can sometimes accidentally push the needle all the way through your vein, which ends up puncturing both sides.
Where was this supposed to go?
So usually you want to stop right before you enter the other side of the vein. So you just go in.
So the goal was the vein.
Yeah.
But that's why they also normally, obviously, go into it with a little bit of an angle.
Which is the first problem I have with this short. The angle at which the injection is done is not that accurate.
Once the needle is removed, it leaves 2 holes in the vein. And before the body can thicken the blood and seal these holes, it bleeds into the surrounding tissues. This leaked blood forms a dark, tender area under the skin, creating bruises and splotchy areas.
Oh, they stopped there?
Well, you just said you did this.
I think any healthcare professional that does injections or anything will make this mistake.
How bad is this?
It's not that bad. So what usually happens, you get something called a hematoma, which is a collection of blood, and it kind of hurts, it's sore, and eventually your body just completely resorbs it and it goes back into your body and it's completely fine. If I ever hear my doctor say, oops, I just die. I said oops a few times. They're still alive. They're still alive.
Did you say oops?
I've said oops. Overall, I think it's a little iffy because the angle of the needle and just the fear he just induced.
They induce a lot of fear. All the comments here are about fear. What is the purpose of your uvula?
It's that thing, that dangly thing in your
The
mouth.
thing that 99 million views.
Have you ever wondered about this little dangly thing at the back of your throat? Well, even though it looks like a miniature punching bag,
Can I try that?
when you swallow food, this thing called a uvula actually swings backwards to prevent the food from going up your nose. And because there's a tiny muscle inside the uvula, it can move around, which helps you speak.
Everything of this could be correct or wrong. I would have no clue.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know either. It sounds correct.
What sounded weird to me is that is the reason there's no food going up your nose, because it's like gravity.
Yeah.
Can you ask ChatGPT? We have another doctor using ChatGPT.
I was gonna mention, I did know about the gag reflex. When we look in the mouth, we try to prevent touching that. That is what I do know. I'm pretty sure you can live without it.
You can live without your uvula.
For sleep apnea, removing it, that's what I do know about it. So that's why I was super surprised by all the functions. I was like, wait, I remember you don't need this thing. We always learn as doctors. It's something that we need to remember. When you go to your doctor, we don't know everything, but we're pretty good at learning stuff.
I like this short. You even made a doctor learn something. How strong are human bones?
Ooh, this is very interesting.
If you took out one of your bones and somehow molded it into a chunk about this big, you might think it would be completely crushed under the weight of a car. But human bones are actually made of a tough mix of minerals and a stretchy protein called collagen. And this makes them so strong that a single cubic inch can support the weight of nearly 5 standard cars.
I think this is a bit of a vague analogy. I still don't really know how strong bones are, because the idea, look at what happened.
Yeah, it's really weird to compare it to like a compressed version of bones. I think you could have just talked about how bones are just a very interesting structure. It's like a sponge. 3D prints In 3D printing, they also have this structure, and some of them kind of look like bones, and I think this is getting quite close to bones. This is pretty close. When you do a 3D print and you use a different infill, the 100% infill, meaning it's completely plastic from the inside, versus the 50% is just as strong. So that's why bones are super light while still being very strong, and this structure actually adapts through mechanosensors again. Shaolin monks, for example, repeatedly beat a tree, and what happens here is exactly what I mentioned. A repeated force, which causes the bone tissue to actually get much stronger in that direction. These were great shorts. I learned a lot. ZagD Films, keep up the work. People subscribe because this is insane. And yeah, learned a lot today.
Also subscribe to this channel and check out Yaad. Thank you, doctor. I don't need you right now anymore. If you guys want to check out the previous video where we checked out how humans evolved over time and maybe some stuff that you have that your friends don't have in your body, and make sure you check out this video. Subscribe to this link and hit the bell. And we also have a work edit. Link in the description.